Welcome to the presentation on the highlights of the GAR Sustainability Report 2018. Before we start, please note that you can type questions for us during the Q&A using the chat box as shown. In today's session, we will only be taking questions on matters covered in the SR 2018. For other topics, please ask them offline. I will now hand over to Pak Agus Purnomo to say a few words about our sustainability efforts in 2018.
Thanks, Yuling. Sustainability at GAR has always been about balancing conservation and development. The issues faced by the palm oil industry are complex and involve engaging multiple stakeholders. With no immediate quick fixes, cultivating and embedding responsible practices requires dedication, long-term commitment, and patience. We believe that as we maintain our course as laid out in our sustainability roadmap, the GHG, we will transform ourselves and our industry. This year, we continue to make progress, but still have more work ahead. We progressed in further extending our traceability to the plantation to our palm supply chain. We have achieved over 60% TTP or traceability to the plantation as some of our third-party suppliers join GAR-owned mills in reporting full traceability, and we are on track to achieve full TTP for our suppliers by end 2020. We also progress in our landscape approach to conservation. We are conserving forests in our own areas, and beyond our areas, we are reaching agreements with local communities on forest conservation as well as supporting our third-party suppliers in forest conservation. Through our efforts, we have almost doubled the area of forest conservation in the last 3 years. We are also strategically aligned with the UN Sustainable Development Goals or SDGs. We are supporting the achievement of targets set out in UN SDGs 2, 12, and 15 through our initiatives in yield improvement, supply chain transformation, landscape forest conservation, which includes participatory conservation planning, long-term fire prevention, and biodiversity protection. We are aware that some areas require more work. These include strengthening our community fire prevention programs to ensure that participating villages continue to record lower numbers of fire incidents. Another area which requires work is in ensuring that everyone understands and embraces the culture of workplace safety. We will be putting in extra effort to improve our work safety record. Looking ahead, we are confident that our continuing implementation of responsible palm oil puts us in a good position to contribute to the sustainable feeding and fueling of future generations.
Thank you, Pa. Now I would like to start off with some comments on the design of our latest report. This year, we have decided to publish in landscape format, optimized for web viewing. We've done this to encourage less wastage of resources and paper. We've also integrated more interactive functions in the report and put more information online, making this year's report more concise and succinct. If you have any feedback about this format and the report in general, please contact me so that we can continue to make the report as relevant for you as possible. We have a dedicated sustainability report webpage, and all our reports can be downloaded there, including the highlights version. I want to say a few words now on palm oil. It remains the most productive vegetable oil crop in the world. As can be seen in this infographic, which comes from IUCN, the International Union for Conservation of Nature, it requires less land than all other major oil crops to produce 1 ton of oil. Given the projected rise in global population and demand for vegetable oil, palm oil remains one of the most viable and sustainable vegetable oil crops in the world. From an economic and human development perspective, the palm oil sector has helped lift millions of farmers and their families in tropical developing countries like Indonesia and Malaysia out of poverty. A farmer growing palm oil can earn at least 7 times more than if he were just growing subsistence crops. Palm oil revenues continue to outstrip revenues from other crops, including rubber and cocoa. Last year, Indonesia generated $20 billion in palm oil exports, and the sector provides employment for around 16 million people, both directly and indirectly. This is why, as the UN calls for sustainable, inclusive economic growth, we believe that responsibly grown palm oil can be termed a UN Sustainable Development Goal commodity, with its ability to eliminate poverty, provide jobs, and reduce inequalities. At GAR, we have been implementing sustainable practices for a long time, as we believe that economic growth can go hand in hand with environmental protection. Let me take you quickly through some of our milestones. In 1997, we were the first Indonesian palm oil grower to adopt a zero burning policy. We adopted a no development on peat policy in 2010. These two practices are key to preventing forest fires and haze on our plantations. In 2011, we were the first in the industry to adopt a forest conservation policy, paving the way for the rest of the sector. As part of our holistic approach to responsible palm, we complemented our FCP with policies on social and community engagement and yield improvement. We also worked with stakeholders like Greenpeace and the Forest Trust, now called Earthworm, to evolve new standards in forest conservation with the high carbon stock approach. In 2014, as our downstream business started to take off, we extended our policy scope to cover the whole value chain. One of the results of this was the achievement of 100% traceability to the mill in 2015. That same year, we integrated all our policies into one master document called the GAR Social and Environmental Policy, or the GSEP. Our latest milestones include the achievement of 100% traceability to the plantation for GAR-owned mills in 2017 and a breakthrough in yield improvement through non-GMO clonals. The GAR Social and Environmental Policy, or GSEP, acts as our roadmap to responsible palm production. Key areas include environmental management, social and community engagement, work environment and industrial relations, and marketplace and supply chain. These are also aligned with our most material issues. We have over 400 staff in Jakarta and in the field overseeing all aspects of sustainability implementation. The SR 2018 contains the targets and progress table, which you will find at the beginning of the report. Here you will be able to see at a glance what progress we are making. This year, we have also linked specific UN SDG targets to our own initiatives. We are keeping up with global trends, and as a signatory of the UN Global Compact, we are committed to the UN SDGs. While palm oil production actually touches on many of the SDGs, at GAR we are focusing on SDGs 2, 12, 15, and 17, as we believe this is where we can contribute strategically. More details on how we are contributing to the SDG targets can be found in our report. As part of our commitment to transparent reporting, we also maintain a dedicated microsite, which serves as our sustainability dashboard. It is completely accessible and does not require a separate login. Here you will find the latest sustainability stats, including fire incident reports, grievance lists, and the latest traceability information. We continue to take part in various annual disclosures as well, including DJSI, FTSE for Good, CDP, and Spot. Our reporting has been recognized, and we've been ranked amongst top ASEAN-listed companies for our human rights, sustainability reporting, and business integrity disclosure. This is our current ranking on the Sustainability Policy Transparency Toolkit, published by the Zoological Society of London. Taking a look now at 2018's sustainability achievements, we begin with environmental management. In line with SDG 15, the protection of life on land, we continue to maintain about 72,000 hectares of conservation area. And just to give you some idea of what that means, that's about the area of Singapore. Conservation is one of the ways that we help avoid GHG emissions, as forests can store large amounts of carbon. Forest conservation also helps maintain the health and availability of freshwater resources. To support our conservation goals, we continue to work with local villages on conservation partnerships. And currently, around 13 villages have signed on to protect over 7,000 hectares of high carbon stock forests. We have launched integrated ecological farming or organic vegetable farming for these communities in tandem with their participation in the joint conservation initiatives. Using spare communal land, they are able to grow vegetables and spices for their daily needs. A family participating in this scheme can save up to 300,000 rupiah and earn another 500,000 rupiah a month through sales of the surplus. If you would like to see where our conservation areas are, maps can be viewed on our website. On other environmental fronts, we are progressing with peat rehabilitation in our concession in West Kalimantan. Over 350 hectares of peatland have been replanted with local plants, and we are maintaining water levels in the peat area. We have also rehabilitated 2,700 hectares of riparian zone, which helps maintain vital ecosystem services, and we are carrying out further research with Cambridge University in this area. We are also continuing a partnership with the non-profit Orangutan Foundation International, and we aim to release a further 60 orangutans back into the wild over the next few years. Meanwhile, we have continued our vigilance against fire outbreaks. There were virtually zero fires in our concessions last year. We've also expanded our long-term fire prevention collaboration to 32 villages around our concessions, helping them prevent and suppress fires. We also educate them on the hazards of fire and haze and encourage them to stop using fire to clear land. We monitor fires closely, reporting all fire incidents in weekly updates on the sustainability dashboard. As you can see from the chart on fire incidents, the Fire-Free program, or Desa Makmur Peduli Api, has resulted in a drop in hotspots and fire spots since it was launched in 2016. However, we note that some villages in the DMPA program reported an uptick in fire incidents last year. We've looked into this and come up with further measures detailed in the SR 2018 to ensure that they continue to lower the number of fire incidents. On other fronts, we continue to manage our operational footprint through the reduction of GHG emissions via methane capture and 100% of CPO and 100% recycling of CPO production waste. We do not use paraquat in our plantations. We're also very excited about our breakthrough in yield improvement. Last year, we reported that 2 non-GMO clonal planting materials were officially launched, potentially capable of producing 10 tons of CPO per hectare per year. That's triple the current national average yields and is set to revolutionize productivity. We are now in the process of producing sufficient clonal stock for replanting from 2022. We believe that yield improvement is the key to successfully feeding the growing world population sustainably, and it could help reduce the pressure to open more forests for agriculture. This focus on yield improvement puts us on track to help deliver the targets of UN SDG 2, which aims for zero hunger. Additional information on our GHG emissions can be found in our SR 2018. This area is still a work in progress, and we will report more information progressively. Further details can also be found in our CDP disclosure on climate change. Aside from environmental issues, a major area for us is the transformation of our supply chain. At GAR, we've invested a lot of resources and time to help our supply chain become more responsible and comply with our GSEP. In 2015, we achieved full traceability to the mill. Since then, we've been working on full traceability to the plantation. We achieved this for GAR mills at the end of 2017, and we're now working with third-party suppliers on full TTP. As of end 2018, over 50 third-party suppliers had reported full TTP. This means that 62% of our palm supply chain is fully traceable. Third-party suppliers have till end 2020 to report full TTP. The mapping process has increased our awareness and knowledge of our suppliers all the way to the origin, and it allows us to guarantee the provenance of our raw materials. But even more importantly, the process has allowed us to deepen engagement and build trust with our suppliers. This is helping us to transform the palm supply chain. One of the tangible results from this, we are currently supporting the conservation of 65,000 hectares of forests by our suppliers. Our supplier transformation program includes site visits, monitoring and assessment, helping suppliers close gaps, and devising remedial action plans where needed. While we favor engagement as a primary strategy, since 2015, we have also dropped around 7% of our suppliers due to non-compliance with GAR policies. We organize Smart Seed and Smart Spot sustainable palm oil training workshops annually for our suppliers. These are based on practical, relevant themes such as how to achieve certification and how to improve labor practices and implement traceability. You can see the case studies of our supplier response to this engagement, as well as the many actions we have taken with our suppliers in addressing grievances on our sustainability dashboard. This diagram gives you an idea of how vast and complex the palm supply chain is, especially as we go further upstream, which is why achieving traceability is a huge effort, but one which we believe has many benefits. Meanwhile, we continue to work on helping smallholders who form a large proportion of the palm oil industry, since they control more than 40% of palm oil estates in Indonesia. We support all 69,400 of our plasma smallholders. Through our partnership, we provide our plasma smallholders access to high-yielding seeds and good quality fertilizers. We also ensure knowledge transfer and capacity building through regular training on good agricultural practices. Due to this, in 2018, our smallholders achieved a CPO yield of around 5.2 tons per hectare, which is among the highest in Indonesia. We're also carrying out support programs for independent smallholders, and we help them access financing in order to complete replanting with higher yielding seed. In addition to boosting farmer incomes, this can lead to more sustainable production, as higher yields can potentially decrease the demand to open more land. Our efforts with our suppliers is helping us achieve some of the targets listed under SDG 12, Responsible Production and Consumption, and SDG 15, Life on Land. CDP has also cited our efforts with our supply chain positively in their recent report. The palm oil industry is a powerful job creator, especially in rural, remote areas. Through the creation of over 171,000 jobs across Indonesia, we're helping to raise incomes and standards of living across the country. GAR continues to pay above the minimum wage set by the Indonesian authorities, as can be seen from the table in this slide. We also have policies to safeguard labor rights, such as freedom of association, strict prohibition of child and forced labor, and maintaining a safe work environment. We are paying more attention to workplace safety. We will be putting in more effort to ensure that everyone understands and embraces a safe workplace culture. All our estates have social and community development programs. As the largest palm oil grower in Indonesia, we have the opportunity to help improve the lives of hundreds of thousands of people. These slides show some of our main initiatives in the community. Our support includes various community investments, such as public infrastructure. Education and healthcare is also a primary focus, and we also run annual programs specially targeting women and children through health awareness, nutrition, and vaccination programs. We also offer aid to natural disaster victims and encourage our employees to give back to society. And with that, we come to the end of our presentation. If you have any questions, please type them in the chat box. Please note that for this session, we will only be answering questions on topics in the SR 2018. Please send other questions to us offline. If it looks like there are no questions tonight, so we would like to thank you very much for your participation. And if you have any feedback or we've missed any of your questions or you think of some questions later, please reach out to me at the email address shown here. Thank you all and have a good day.